What's up, my know-it-alls? Tell you what, man, we just got out of the theater and we just saw Blue Beetle. You know what that means? It's time for a review. We're going to be doing a non-spoiler review, which is not something we normally do, but Mrs. Know-it-all is here. She watched it with me and she's going to give her input too. So stick around, stay put, because a Blue Beetle non-spoiler review is coming up right now. Okay, so non-spoiler review, which is going to be very difficult because this movie's amazing. The movie stars Xolo Maridueña, who and Bruno Marquezine. Xolo plays Blue Beetle, of course. Also Jaime Reyes, and Bruno Marquezine plays Jenny Cord, the daughter of Ted Cord. That's one thing I will say. The movie, for those of you who are classic comic fans of the original Ted Cord, Blue Beetle, his presence is felt. Not just felt, but there's like legitimate, you sit here and you go, wow, they did such a great job honoring. There are multiple facets that show their head and you're like, okay.
Well, and it's funny that you said that because I knew nothing going into this about Blue Beetle, and when I saw the whole air, like this where she was at in the house, I was like, I learned so much so quickly. Like I almost like I learned so much.
No, it was amazing. The entire gist, the story is very much an origin story. This felt to me like a Phase 1 Marvel movie. By that I mean it felt very much like the beginning of something great. I love, Iron Man laid the tone. You actually said a really good comparison in the car.
The comparison I could make to it was it reminded me a lot of Iron Man, like the original, like that Tony Stark mentality, because he's a smart kid,
Yeah.
and with a little bit of Peter Parker in there. So he had some little Spider-Man, because Tom Holland's Spider-Man, even though is very childlike, and this kid's only 22, so. Yeah. And then with a little dash of Ant-Man sprinkled in there for like comic, because it's funny you say you see your family. Yeah. I see my husband's family too.
The family dynamic for the family Reyes is so special to me and made so much of it was there. I was excited by it. And especially because, like I just said a minute ago, having the fact that I share that name with them, that the family I was born into. But yeah, George Lopez is amazing in this. Everybody's really good. The family dynamic, dude. This is not the scenes you've seen in the trailers were a glimpse into the family dynamic, and I'm gonna tell the one thing I'll say, and it may or may not be spoilers. I hope it's not. Is that family through line lasts the entire way through.
Yes.
This movie for me did better in one solid movie what like the Fast X movies or Fast and Furious.
I was going to say the best way, I guess that is the best way to describe that, is those the Fast Furious franchise. That franchise relies so heavily on its family. It's family. Every single, and it's always been about family, whether it's actual family or family that they brought in. Yeah. And this is not so much the family that they brought in, but it's definitely actual family. Like this, there's no better definition.
No, they did so good. Susan Sarandon plays the villain, which we've already seen. She plays Victoria Cord, who's the current
slimy villain she does play.
She's so good. She's good at being bad. Really she chews the scenery hardcore in this thing. They do a wonderful job representing another fictitious city. So DC, different than Marvel's always wanted to be grounded in like cities you know. DC has like Superman's got Metropolis and Batman's got Gotham. And so the Blue Beetle characters always had Palmyra City, which in the comics was originally someplace in Texas, rather, and so this is a little more like on a.
So maybe like at the where Texas and Mexico kind of meet right there, like at the ocean. I guess that makes sense.
Agreed. That's sort of where I think this whole thing is supposed to take place, but.
It's gonna be like at the ocean.
But yeah, there's a really cool. There's an unexpected appearance by some former DC characters. I say former because they're back in the day characters, back in the crates. There is both a mid-credit and a post-credit, so stick around. Don't rush out like we almost did. And But I'm trying to think what else is because again, it's difficult sometimes. Again, I don't normally do non-spoiler stuff, so this is my first time trying.
It's hard.
It's very difficult because I tell you what, this thing, I've never felt prouder to be Spanish. I always talk a little bit about how Black Panther affected me as a black man. I'm a black Puerto Rican, and because we got black folks too, and so it's one of those things that I feel more. Like that, I thought my eyes were opened by Black Panther.
More.
I feel like Blue Beetle was speaking to me. This movie was such a cultural, and by the way, it's very Mexican centric, but it's the Latin part. The as a Latino man, I really identified with those characters. Like you said before, I can see my family and people in them. But yeah, man, it's exciting. The movie's really good. You absolutely need to go run out and see it.
You laugh. I promise you will cry.
There are several points that I cried at. One of which I was floored by the fact that I was crying. Everybody does such an amazing job.
There's a scene with the daughter.
Yeah, where you're just
the acting itself is, I think, is very good because some of the stuff that they go through, whether it be happy or sad, you're feeling it with them. Yeah, I would say.
She's talking about Belisa Escobedo, she plays Milagro. She plays Milagro Reyes. And again, she's an amazing actress. Everybody's doing wonderful work. They represented like a culture in such a wonderful way. And everybody from Damien Alcazar, who plays the father, all the way to just all kinds of. And the funny thing is, they didn't have to do much world building. They drop a reference to Superman, just like anybody would. Like we might drop a reference to a football player or a sports person. It's, you know what I mean. Like at one point they're mentioning all the different cities, like
the superheroes. They're in the major cities they're in the major cities with the bigger problems. They're not going to worry about Cord.
You saw the trailer where
like that, yeah.
Where what's his name, George Lopez is like, Batman's a fascist because
that's right. I forgot about that.
He's so great. George Lopez again. Chef's kiss. Yeah, man. So I enjoyed the heck out of this movie. I thought it was so good, and it was the movie I was ready for, and I'm blown away.
I want to be hopeful for the rest of the DC.
Me too. The DCU is.
I'm excited.
If this is the movie you springboard off, I know everyone's like Superman Legacy, and I'm down for Superman Legacy, but I feel like. Bro, James Gunn, pay attention. This is the movie that you need to make sure rolls right into your DCU. As the last two vestiges of the old regime, because Walter Hamada is mentioned as an executive producer on this, so it's definitely from the previous people who were running the place. Right. But now, the direction they're moving in, this is a wonderful place to start from. It is such a good movie. It's exciting. It does things, and it's a story that while parts of it seem familiar, and it's funny. So I heard another reviewer recently say, "Oh well, it does a good job showing us things we've seen a million times before." You know what? You saw Crazy Rich Asians. It's the same story you've seen a million times before, but you've never seen it from that perspective. This was a superhero film unlike anything you've seen before. The best example I can give you is Shazam. Was the kind of family thing you've seen before, and so you kind of go, oh yeah, no, I get it. A bunch of I was gonna say white kids, but my point is characters we've seen doing things we've seen. I've never seen characters like these doing things like this. While we've seen stuff like this, you've never seen anything like this. Go see this movie. You're going to want to see it twice. Go bring your family.
Very kid-friendly. Couple of curse words here and there, but nothing that they haven't heard on the school ground.
I love you so much. Raza, vete a la cinema. Vete a ver la película cuando puedes, porque este movie te vas a mover la corazón y te vas a mover la mente también. Te lo digo, tú nunca has visto algo así como esta película hace. Esto es una de las mejores superhero cosas que yo han visto. I'm Puerto Rican, I speak Spanglish. All right, so again, all of that to say, love this movie. So there you go. Now you know, and if knowing's half the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. So what's my non-spoiler grade in the know-it-all index? I'm going to go with a 9.5. I'm going to go 9.5. Mrs. Know-It-All is going to reserve hers and hold it back for her rating for the spoiler review because she really wants to talk about stuff before she gives her rating, and I'm down. So yeah, man, comment below. Let us know what you think. I absolutely adore this movie, and I honestly want to go see it again. So
we'll see it again.
Absolutely,
see it again.
We probably
we'll
most
take
likely
Baby
will.
Know-It-All and
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's unreal. So all right, guys, we'll talk again very, very soon. You have anything else?
I'm good.
Never forget.
Everyone loves a know-it-all.
You heard her.